Oh my god! Lag almost killed me there. So, hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we take a look at what might be one of the most hidden gems in War Thunder. A criminally underrated plane. We'll take a look at the Bell P-63 Kingcobra. Now, when you hear the term Bell Aircraft Corporation, your mind probably won't jump immediately to something like this. Today, Bell is more famous for their helicopter products. They have some of the most important civil and also military helicopters in the world. Examples include, for example, the Ranger series, like the Bell 206. Um, and also, Bell was the first manufacturer that fielded a combat helicopter, a true attack helicopter, in the form of the AH-1G Cobra. They also produced the Bell UH-1 Huey utility helicopter. Both the AH-1 and the Huey are very well known for their roles they played in the Vietnam War. But the roots to Bell date back way much farther back. Bell was founded in 1935, and when World War II started, they were a rather new aircraft company, therefore. Um, and in order to really get a foothold in the aircraft market, which was dominated by very known companies like Republic, North American, Grumman, etc., they fielded some very unusual and interesting designs. Their first major combat aircraft was the Aracuda, which was I think it was the FM1 Aracuda, which was a twin-engined heavy fighter bomber destroyer, which looked absolutely ridiculous and was quite a dog to fly. But this basically set the scene for some very unusual aircraft that were coming from Bell's designer. Their first really big throw would be the P-39 Airacobra, the direct predecessor to the here seen P-63. And by the way, I'm very sorry if you hear me snorting a little bit. My allergies are killing me right now. And in order to fully understand the P-63, we need to take a look at its predecessor, the P-39. Where is this? There. Yes. The P-39 here in its Q variant. You need to understand that when World War II started, or around the late 30s, every major fighting nation was developing at least two fighter aircraft. Um, you had the Hurricane and the Spitfire for the British, the Bf-109 and later the FW-190 for the Germans. The Japanese had for the Navy the A6M and later for the Army the Oscar Ki-43. The Americans had the P-40 and the P-39, both powered by the same engines. Um, and these were the principal fighter aircraft types in the initial stages of World War II for them. The P-39 was an interesting design. If you look at it compared to other aircraft, you immediately see that this thing is completely different. Its engine is mounted in the middle. It has a tricycle landing gear, which was very unusual for fighter aircraft of the time. Most foreign designs were tail draggers. Indeed, most of the fighter aircraft throughout World War II would remain tail draggers. And what they did was mounting the engine in the middle to free up the nose for some heavy caliber armament in the form of the 37mm M4 cannon. The P-39 was envisioned as an interceptor, and therefore it was initially planned to mount it with a turbocharger. However, for sake of simplicity and saving costs, this was dropped and the aircraft would be delivered only with single-stage superchargers. This allowed the P-39 to reach rather impressive speeds for a 1941 aircraft, of 602 kilometers per hour. I think most sources came up to 621 for the best version, the P-39Q, but well, it depends on the source, I guess. Uh, God damn it, I'm sorry. Um, but the omission of the turbocharger, meant that high altitude performance dropped significantly. As you can see, it achieves its best speed only at 3,000 meters, which certainly hampered the aircraft in the interceptor role. And throughout World War II, this thing was relegated to the low-level interception or ground attack role, where with its heavy armament, the P-39 did prove pretty valuable. But the American pilots hated the Cobra. They really did not like this thing. Especially the army, which received the P400 variant with a 20mm cannon in the nose, which basically switched out the P-39's biggest selling point. It was basically slaughtered over the skies of China and over the Pacific. Um, Also hampered by its very low range. As you can see, if we look at the modules, yeah, those are basically all these two, the fuel tanks, which gave it a rather short range. Um, the problem was that this aircraft was basically slaughtered by zeros, which led to the term for a P400 being called a P40 with a zero on its tail. Um, and while the Americans absolutely did not like their Cobras, the Soviet pilots, however, they loved this thing, because this thing was used by the Soviets under the Lend-Lease program. And because fights on the Eastern Front were fought at much lower altitudes than, for example, on the Pacific or the Western Front in Europe, where aircraft like the Bf-109 or the Zero proved way more superior to the P-39. On the Eastern Front, where fights were fought much more lower, the P-39 was much better, and the Soviet pilots loved it. First of all, the thing was armored. As you can see, it has quite significant armor for such an early war design. And with its single-stage supercharger, it was meant that it achieved its best speed at low altitude. It was also fairly maneuverable. It is said that this thing was no match for a Zero, but well, no aircraft is really a match for a Zero in a turning engagement. In itself, this thing was a very maneuverable aircraft. The engine also provided good protection for the pilot if shot at from behind, something the Soviet pilots really liked. All these attributes were something that would be taken over into the follow-up design, the P-63. Now, at first glance, you might think, okay, this just looks like a slightly lengthened P-39 with maybe a different engine. What's the significance? And I thought so too before I did more research on this aircraft. It turns out that apart from the basic layout and the overall looks, this thing is completely different from the P-39. This thing is way bigger, it weighs more, it basically doubles the armor, not only on mountings where armor is applied, but also in the thickness. Just look at that compared to the P-39. It doubles the armor in these areas almost. And it's way more. This was done. Well, first of all, let's discuss the engine. The engine in both aircraft is an Allison V1710 engine, driving a four-bladed propeller via an extension shaft on the P-63 and P-39. Obviously, a three-bladed propeller. One of the main changes was the use of this propeller to allow it to be better at higher altitudes. Unlike the P-39, which was envisioned as an interceptor, this thing from the start was more thought of like mid-altitude, much more designed for low-level duties, low or mid-level. It did receive a second two-stage supercharger, giving it roughly 3,000 meters more ceiling, and as you can see, it achieves its best speed at much higher altitude than the P-39. The variant of the Allison V1710 was 93. There were all sorts of different Allison V1710s. This was one of the most prolific and most important aircraft aero engines on the Allied side of World War II. It was used in so many designs: the P-39, P-63, P-40, P-38 used two of them. Certainly one of the most important aircraft engines of World War II. 12-cylinder V12, developing in the P-63 up to 1800 horsepower, which was way more than in the 1200 horsepower of the P-39. This allowed it to gain much higher speeds as well, despite the increase in weight and size. Armament remained mostly the same. Late P-39s were equipped with up to 4 50 caliber machine guns and one 37mm M4. Early P-63s used the same layout, 4 50 cals and an M4, starting from I don't know what exactly, I think the A7, from the A7 or A10, I don't really remember right now. This was changed to the 37mm M10, which had a slightly higher rate of fire. Now, when Bell developed the P-63, they started from the P-39, XP-39E, which was a slightly enlarged P-39. This proved rather unsatisfactory, but they thought, okay, they just redesigned just some more, and this is where the XP-63 was born. Some of the most major changes are a new wing, which was now a laminar flow design, giving it better performance. The engine was stronger, the aircraft was overall just much bigger, and of course it gained much better protection, because as we said, this thing was more envisioned for the ground attack or ground support role, and therefore was given more extensive armor protection for the pilot, not to mention that the engine would provide better protection from the rear, from shots from behind. As you can see, here is this bulkhead, then the engine. This pilot is very well protected. The tricycle landing gear was kept. The propeller was switched to a 4-bladed design, giving it better efficiency. And because the P-39 was so extensively used by the Russians, Bell basically thought, okay, this follow-on design, the P-63, would probably also be used by the Russians, and therefore, during the development process for the A variant, they decided to get the Soviets directly involved with the design of the aircraft. Not only did improvements from American pilots contribute to the P-63, but the Soviets played a major part in the development of this aircraft. The first prototype flew on the 7th of December 1942, exactly 1 year after Pearl Harbor. The first two prototypes were actually lost, so, well, it wasn't really off to a great start. And from the beginning, this was thought of to be more of a second-line aircraft. It was at first envisioned to get a Merlin engine, but since the Merlin, or the Packard, as the American version is called, was reserved for the P-51, it reverted back to the Allison V1710, albeit at a much more powerful variant. The test revealed that the P-63 was inferior to the Mustang, obviously, in terms of speed and high altitude performance, even though the P-63 was probably a bit of a better dogfighter, at least at low level. It had the wing loading of the P-63 and the Mustang was basically almost the same, but the P-63 had a much better roll rate than what would best types such as the P-47 or even the Japanese Kawanishi N1K. It wasn't quite on the same level as the FW190, but still, it had a very impressive 110 degree per second roll rate. Deliveries of the first P-63As began in October 1943, and in February 1944, the Soviets became directly involved with the aircraft when they sent one of their most experienced test pilots, Andrei Kochetkov, over. God, that's one hell of a name. I hope I did say that right. and he did a lot of testing with the aircraft. They also brought along an aircraft engineer. What was his name again? Uh, with Fyodor or Fyodor. Wait, let me just quickly look it up. Fyodor P-63. What a name. Um, yeah, and they did a number of changes to the aircraft. This would include movement of the 37mm gun forwards to give it a better to improve the center of gravity, and with the movement forwards, this also freed up space, and this was one of the most significant improvements over the P-39, which only carried 30 rounds of its 37mm ammunition. With the gun moved forward, now the M10 could carry 58. This almost doubled the loadout for the 37mm ammunition. Another change was the panels on the cowling were enlarged, because one of the main problems with the P-39 was that the cannon bay was very inaccessible to maintenance crews, and this one was more, as you can see here, the lines of the most significant improvements as well. Kochetkov did a lot of spin testing with the aircraft. Both the P-39 and the P-63 would have difficult stall characteristics, and this would conclude in the testing proved so extensive that it actually buckled the airframe. But Kochetkov's testified basically, he said, if this thing enters a flat spin, just bail out. There's no way of recovering it. Which was, of course, due to aerodynamics, but also because of the placement of the engine in the middle. To somewhat counter this, they tried all sorts of things. One was try to change the center of gravity by moving the cannon more forward, but at least one prototype also had a fin down here to give it more lateral stability. However, this would remain a problem for the P-63, that it was basically unrecoverable from a flat spin. There is some controversy regarding this, because Kochetkov was actually giving an award by a parachute company, and some think this might be a little bit of a conspiracy, that he's basically said, okay, I just say this thing is unrecoverable from a spin, and therefore get a commandment from the parachute company, but nah. It was basically known all around that these aircraft did have difficult stall characteristics, or spin characteristics, should we say. All in all, around 3,300 P-63 Kingcobras were built, with the majority being taken over by the Soviet Union. They were actually prohibited from using this thing against the Germans. However, several reports on the German side report that they encountered P-63 over the Kurland pocket. Sorry. But the aircraft was actually more intended to be used against the Japanese when the Soviets would eventually attack the Japanese. But of course, this really never happened in such a grand scale. Still, as the P-39 was loved by the pilots of the Soviet Air Force, such same case was with the P-63. It fit in with the Soviet doctrine very well. And also their Yak fighters, for example, were also better at low altitude, so it fit right into this lineup of aircraft. Soviet pilots liked the 37mm gun. There is a saying that this aircraft was used as a tank buster. However, it's unlikely, because even the Soviet reports say so, because the penetration of the 37mm gun was just not that good. This was a rather low velocity gun compared to something like the 37mm NS-37 that the Soviets used. And at least here in game, I just trust the sources they use for this, but well, yeah, 37mm max penetration, that's just not enough to really do anything to especially heavy tanks. It was certainly used in the ground attack role, and this gun certainly proved useful against lightly armored targets, but this was not a dedicated tank buster. However, it was able to carry secondary armament. Bombs and rockets could be carried. We have loadouts here in game, 3 500-pound bombs So certainly not bad. Yeah, where did we left? Right. The P-63 was not taken over by the Americans, however. It was not used by the US Air Force in an offensive combat role. As we said, the majority went to the Soviets, and after the war also to the French. They used them in, I think, in the Indochina War, 1951, something like that, until they were replaced by Bearcats, which, well, just were better because the Bearcat is generally regarded as a super prop. But still, this is one of the aircraft that gets generally overlooked, even though it's actually a pretty good design. A very solid design, proved successful, and after the war, the this aircraft would actually gain. It was one of the few aircraft that were designed by the Western nation, used by the Soviets. It would gain a Western codename. This was known as the Fred. Yeah, there was one incident in which two F-80s attacked a Soviet airfield in an accidental attack where at least one P-63 was destroyed. And I think it was after this that they decided, okay, they still have a significant number of these aircraft in service, so we better give them a code name. And well, that's just where the code name Fred came along. And I just noticed that there is another P-63 here in the background. I just want to try something. If I change this loadout, does it change in the back one as well? Ah, no, it doesn't. Too bad. Would have been cool. Yeah. Now, you might look at this aircraft and think, what the fuck is this sort of camo? This does not, this is just, looks like a high visibility jacket. Well, this is one of the aircraft that was famously used by the so-called Operation Pinball. Pinball was the nickname given to these aircraft. These were specialized target drones, manned target drones. Yes, there was actually a guy sitting in this when someone shot at it from behind. They were the P-63 was extensively used in this role, and in order to, well, just not be destroyed outright, over a ton of sheet metal was applied to the aircraft, and the training ammunition was frangible ammunition made up of lead and bakelite, which would destroy itself upon hitting the aircraft, and therefore cause minimal damage to the machine, or no damage at all. I haven't seen it obviously, but I just still can't imagine that even with over a ton of sheet metal, that being shot at, even with frangible ammunition, would not result in at least some damage to the aircraft. At least the paint would be scratched. But yeah, this aircraft, the IL-76, which I think is funny because that's the name of a Soviet transport plane, I think it exists today. It's one of the most famous P-63s. And indeed, these target P-63s prove valuable assets for training new pilots. As we remember, the late 40s, early 50s, the majority of the airfights were still fought with guns, not missiles. Yeah, again, the French used this thing in after the war. The USA in the target role. They would remain in Soviet service for some time until being replaced by jet aircraft. It never achieved the numbers that its predecessor got. I think there were over 9,000 P-39s produced, only 3,300 P-63s. But again, this was a successful design. It improved on all aspects of the P-39, and it was certainly, at least in my book, I think this was a good aircraft. It really doesn't deserve to be overlooked that much. Today there are a bunch of P-63s surviving, at least one is airworthy. And for a time this thing was also a pretty popular racer. There were P-63s flying at the Reno air races, because they were easily modifiable thanks to the engine being mounted in the middle. The armament, of course, was removed, and there was plenty of space for other stuff to be added. Oh, I'm sorry, my allergies are really killing me. Well, which made the P-63 a pretty popular racer. Um, yeah, and I think that concludes the P-63. As we said, I think it's an aircraft that does not deserve to be overlooked as much. It's a great design, and fun fact, uh, we talked about earlier about the extent of the extension shaft. This ran directly between the legs of the pilot. Yes, can you imagine that? A big fat rod spinning between your legs at God knows how many rounds per minute. If that thing fails, well, oh, I couldn't imagine it. I mean, this must be harrowing. But anyways, um, if you have such a long rod spinning at higher RPMs, it obviously warps. If you have a short, think of it this way: if you know these small electric engines for model kits, if you put something like an extension shaft on them, which some models have, and just let it spin freely, it will wobble around. This was one of the main problems they faced with the P-39 and the P-63 design. So there were a number of bearings here on the final drive shaft, or final gearbox, to keep everything aligned and in check. And this would eventually prove invaluable for Bell because, again, what is Bell most known for? Helicopters. And helicopters basically face the same problem with their extended shafts. So this provided valuable lessons for the later development of Bell helicopters. And this would result eventually in Bell becoming one of the most prolific and most important helicopter producers currently in the world, both for military and civil service. So that finally should conclude the P-63 history, the historical part of this aircraft. We now take a look at the machine in game. The P-63 A-10 is the aircraft we will fly today. There are two other P-63s, the A-5, which is a version that was this was all of the machines of the variants before the Soviets had their input on it, so it still has has the M4 cannon with only 30 rounds. And yeah, it sits as 3.3. The one we are looking at is the P-63A10. This is one of the machines that has the Soviet improvements. And there's also the P-63C5, which was the final variant conceived by Bell, the C-type. They both sit at 4.0. There's also one on the French tree, also a C model, the C5, also at 4.0. And the Russians get one, obviously, as well. Where is it? They get the A5 only. Why don't they get the improved one? I just realize. Oh, anyways. Modules. Engine in the middle. Keep that in mind. This thing is more vulnerable to shots from behind to the engine, but it certainly protects the pilot. So, yeah, make that what you want. Yeah, armament 450 cals, 2 in these eyebrow mounts on the cowling, 2 in the wings, with limited ammunition, only 900 rounds for all machine guns. In my opinion, that's not enough. You need to have some trigger control with this machine. And the big 37mm M10 with 58 rounds. You don't need to have that much trigger control with that thing. But be careful, this thing is more used against bombers. Not for fighter aircraft. It can be a little bit tricky to aim because it has a low muzzle velocity. We will see it in the test flight. Armor, as we talked, extensive armor, up to 19 millimeters here at the front, bulkhead and everything. This thing is actually, if it had different armor, it would be great for head-on attack because it has extensive pilot protection. Just look on what you all have to go through to get to the pilot, both from the front and from behind. But yeah, the armament kind of lets it down in the head-on roll. Centralized armament only comprises the 37mm, which has difficult to use ballistics and 250 cals. So make of that what you want. Yeah. Modifications. This is a very beginner-friendly aircraft, in my opinion. And even stock, this thing can perform incredibly well. I would generally go for the traditional left to right, performance mods first and the armament. You can leave this one out, unless you want to use this in ground army. But you want to get as much speed as possible, because you will be flying at low to mid altitude with this thing. In general, fights at warfare will take place at lower altitudes, which certainly plays into the hands of the P-63 anyways. Yeah. You can basically start from where you want. It doesn't really matter that much. I would recommend the performance mods just to get more speed out of it, but yeah, if you want to go for the armored mods, you sure can do that as well. Now, repair costs for 4,580, I think that's okay. The stat cards are, of course, rubbish. At least this thing does not have a 23-second turn time, what the fuck. And certainly not that good of a climb rate. One of the disadvantages of the P-63, we forgot to talk about that, both the P-39 and P-63 had very low climb rates, actually. It wasn't really that good. I think it was like 13 or 14 meters per second, which is okay-ish, but certainly not good. And this is one of the main problems the P-63 has here in War Thunder as well. It is not a very good climber. The acceleration is also not all that good in my opinion, especially in the climb. But it goes pretty it keeps its energy, its speed very well when you go straight out of a dive. And it turns well. Speaking of that, let's make a quick test flight to give you some idea on how this thing performs. And I'm sorry, I have to pull this all the time, but I get these allergies. Oh, fuck. Oh, damn it. So, thanks to its heavy weight, this thing also has quite a long takeoff run. See that? It's 170, 180 kilometers per hour. Most aircraft at that yard take off at 150 kilometers per hour. For example, the B-9 is able to take off at lower speeds. And you will see me comparing this thing to B-9 very often, because they, at least in terms of their flight performance in the turning area, they are very similar. The BF-109 and the P-63 are some of the most evenly matched aircraft in War Thunder, in my opinion. Both are great machines to fly, but they do have their very own quirks and tricks and quirks that make the aircraft distinctive. The B-9 obviously much better at higher altitude, with better flap performance, and maybe slightly better at, a little bit better at turning with flaps, and at very low speed because of the leading edge slats. But overall, very, very similar. P-63 can certainly outrun a 109 if you fly it correctly. It has a better roll rate, a much better roll rate than the 109. Just look at that. That's pretty good. Which makes it good for scissor maneuvers. But the turning performance of this thing is certainly not bad. Just look at this. Very stable in the turn. Very stable aircraft. Great roll rate. Great for scissoring. It also has very, very impressive dive performance. I think the 109 might be a little bit better in the dive acceleration, but in terms of dive speed achieved, this thing is maybe even a little bit better. This thing can easily go over 800. And it keeps, like the 109, it keeps the energy very well once out of the dive. However, once you start turning, you will lose the energy a little bit more than the 109. I mean, this is a much heavier aircraft, but still. Therefore, the P-63 has a more powerful engine, with 1800 horsepower versus what was the 109, the F4, 1350. So it certainly can pull with 109 and with basically anything else. It says, just look at that 700 and just look how good it keeps its energy. It's also pretty fast down low. We will see, we just see how it maxes out. Should be around 550, 570, which for a 4.0 aircraft is not bad. Take a look at the cockpit. Visibility, if you want to use this in sim, well, to the front it's actually pretty good. To the rear, not too good, but certainly not bad. They never introduced a double canopy for this thing. There was one prototype tested with one, but it wasn't introduced. God knows why. So we have here in a slight climb, so yeah, max speed is maybe not achievable here in the climb. As you can see, it doesn't keep the energy decently. This thing is more of a dogfighter than an energy fighter. The 109 might be more of an energy fighter than a dogfighter, but both of them can do both. So, like the 109, this thing is a great all-rounder, a really great performer, which makes this thing very, I don't want to say noob-friendly, because that sounds so derisive, so derogatory. It's beginner-friendly. It's a very beginner-friendly aircraft, in my opinion. And I'm surprised this thing doesn't get used more often. You don't see them as much as, for example, Spitfires or 109s, even though this thing is a very solid performer, and should definitely not be underestimated. Yeah, you can see this thing tops out at 560, 570, so this is one of the fastest aircraft of the 4.0 battle rating range. So my recommendations: use this thing at low altitude or mid altitude up to a max of 5,000 meters. This is where this machine performs best, or down low, thanks to its very good maneuverability. I mean, just look at that 572 kilometers per hour on the deck, or almost on the deck. Certainly a fast machine. And the turn performance is great. Just look at that. One thing: be careful with the use of your flaps. Don't use them above 400 kilometers per hour, or they will rip just straight off. This thing has rather weak flaps. Just see that 370 kilometers per hour. It only tells me to retract them. The flaps are not that strong. Keep that in mind. Otherwise, as you can see, just absolutely beautiful to fly. We take a look at the armament. As I told you, just look how quickly these fall off. Now the 50 cals, they go straight ahead. Keep that in mind. Yep, you see the 37mm rounds they don't have the same ballistics. I would highly recommend with the P-63 getting selecting a button to select between your guns, not like 1 and 2, but to really permanently select between them. I've used the Alt key as my key binding. I used the same for missiles on jets, so I can, as you can see up there, I can select only the machine guns, or only the cannon, or both. This also gets you a very good early training for the jet aircraft, where you have to select between radar guided missiles, heat seekers, or guns. This is my personal setup, and I think it's, at least for me, it works perfectly with the Alt key, because it's right. I can just use it with the thumb and quickly select the guns or the missiles, or in this case, machine guns and cannons. And this is mandatory for the P-63, because you want to use the 37mm gun against bombers exclusively in most situations, at least. You can use it against fighters if your aim is very good, and you don't want to waste the 50 cal ammunition against bombers, because it's very limited. 900 rounds per altogether. That's less than 250 rounds per gun, and in my opinion, not enough, especially because it only carries 4 50 cals, and 2 of them are in the wings. Landing the P-63 is rather easy thanks to the tricycle landing gear. Keep in mind the landing gear extends rather slowly, so you need to extend it a little bit earlier than in other aircraft. But even when you put it down a little bit harder, yeah, it's easy to get on the ground. In my opinion, one of the most easy to land aircraft. You can't do really that much wrong with it. There is Tokyo drifting into a stop. Also, that gun sounds fantastic. Boom, 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 boom. It is a little bit more accurate than the 37mm of the Russians. In the mean that the spread range of quickly succeeding shots is not that much. Of course, muzzle velocity hampers its accuracy. But yeah. So, that's for the P-39 in game, its performance, stuff like that. Let's jump into the gameplay.
And just like that, it's Kingcobra time. This is one hell of an all-rounder. It's very similar in playstyle to the 109, though it does come with its own kinks and quirks. It rolls, for example, better, but it's not as good in the dive, in my opinion. How he survived that, I have absolutely no idea. Just look at this thing going. The only thing that sucks about this thing is the armament. It's kind of lackluster. Only 4 heavy machine guns and a big ass cannon that is not as good as on the Yak 9T. Oops. Well, seems I stole the kill from the 190 and killed him. Oh my god. Well, that's certainly a first for me. The team seems pretty much dead. I'm not far away to go into 1 versus 1, otherwise the 0 will catch me. Would have loved to go into a 1 versus 1 against the other P-63, but yeah. 2 versus 1, not with me. Oh. Oh, wait. Now we are talking. Ah, yeah, I forgot. This thing does not have very good flaps. Yeah, dude. You might be faster right now, but I have way better energy retention. And a more powerful engine. Wouldn't that been epic if I just sniped him there? Screw that. Oh, I got the 109. And this guy will most likely be dead as well. Come on, dude, just go down. Perfect. Now, can we get the J-22 as well? We are on 3 kills right now. Oh, holy shit! Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Oh! Oh, we got him critical. But now we're screwed. Now we're utterly screwed. There's a 0 coming in. And he's... Oh, thank God he's not going for us. We are very low on ammunition. I mean, that kill on that reversal on the P-61 was epic. Yeah, the A6M2 got... Oh, got the friendly A6M. No, we need more ammo. Yes, or... no. 2 versus 3. Or is it 4? Could be 4. We are on 4 kills and my team is utterly useless. Other than acting as bait. Yeah. We need to get this thing down. And rearm. Why is this taking so long? Extend the gear, please. Oh, a little bit hard of a landing. Come on. Oh. One hell of a bumpy ride. Slow down. Yep. Well then. Only the Helldiver and me left. I am not afraid of a J-22, but they have a 0. I cannot compete with that. See, at least not in this situation. No. 0's heading away. There's the J-22. Oh, is it? Where's the Helldiver? Where is the damn Helldiver? Oh, there. They also have a P-39. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, I think this match will end before. They only have like 4 tickets left. 1 ground kill and this is over. Come on, Helldiver. You can do it. Right behind you. Unless I have an altitude advantage, I won't be engaging the 0, however. This will be pure suicide. I am faster than a 0, but when he can dive on me, this negates my only advantage I have over him. And maybe my better roll rate, but ugh. That said, it is an A6M2. He might be out of ammunition by now. P-39 should not be a problem for me, not at all. This thing is basically a P-39 with a more powerful engine. A way more powerful engine. Well, not exactly. I mean, there are other refinements, of course, but the basic layout, you know. Oh yeah, buddy, you are yeah, okay. What are the hell I will get him. No question about it. He didn't get him. Well then, I get him.
let's turn around in case, just in case he puts the fire out. But that should be it for this guy. Yep, and just as like that, that's an ace match. Where's the zero? I still am a little bit afraid that the zero is just lurking around somewhere here. Come on, Helldiver. Don't tell me this guy doesn't have any bombs left. Please. Yes, that's great. Good job, Helldiver. Good job. And just like that, that's an ace match with. Wait, am I still on a premium account? I think I am. Yes. 35,000. Not too shabby. Yeah. Look at that. Top of my team. This guy also did not too bad actually. But yeah. Definitely MVP of this match. I mean, I said my team was losers. I mean, the Helldiver, of course, he did what needed to be done. I mean, he scored the last ground kill. I don't think we would have survived against the other two, not because of the J-22, but the zero. At low altitude like that, the zero just completely outclasses almost anything. Once the zero catches you, it's behind you. You're dead. You can't do anything about it at low altitude. But yeah, we won this easily. 5 kills. Look at that. That's not bad at all. So, Kingcobra round number 2. This time we are sporting the historical pinball livery of the P-63 target target aircraft. Yeah. Really cool camo scheme if you ask me. Gave it the good old 8-ball decal as well, because I think it fits the aircraft. You rarely see aircraft that's so with such colorful livery. Of course, the entire P-63 series on the American Tech Tree is like that, except for the A model, the A5. But the C5 also has these colorful stripes. And only I think the A7M, the Japanese prototype camo scheme on the A7M, that comes to mind as well. But otherwise, most aircraft have rather, I won't say bland, but you know, standard military camouflages. Something like this is pretty cool. It reminds me of the aircraft of the First World War. Stuff like the Fokker DR-1, the Red Baron. I can't wait for World War I aircraft to hit the game. I seriously hope they are coming, because I will play the shit out of that. I'm way more excited for World War I aircraft than for anything modern, because I think World War I combat requires skill. You don't just get into position, press a button and launch a missile that hits the enemy. Selecting the cannon. Yes! Oh my god. And oh my god, double. Oh, I deserve that kill. Yeah. No noob is gonna ram my kill away. Well then, let's keep the energy up a bit. We have several zeros behind us. Call out for help. Can't take them all by myself. Zeros might not be the fastest, but the acceleration is great. On the same level as a P-51. And I think that's the A6M2 model. 0.18 horsepower per kilogram or something like that.
or the other way around. Basically, it's almost the same as the P-51. And that's on the M2 model. The later variants have more powerful Sake engines, so it's likely even... well, they are also more heavier, so... just disregard what I just said. Just look at it. Just look how quickly these guys are coming in. J26 and J21. Let's get these guys. The XP50. They're into all sorts of trouble. There's an XP50 coming in. One of the most ridiculous aircraft of this BR. Selecting the machine guns. Yep. Another kill, so maintain altitude. Preferably you want to engage in a boom and zoom tactic or energy tactic. You can dogfight, sure you can, unless with zeros of course, but this is the more safer way to approach your intended target. Because should things go south, you can always just pull through, like that. Let's head in. That J26 needs to die. Yeah, I'm not that stupid. Underestimated a little bit how long he can hang on this propeller here. Oh, there's the zero. Oh, we're just gonna go dive straight down. Getting zero, and yep, that should be it for the Mustang as well. Perfect. Plenty of ammunition left. We are not finished yet. 4 kills. Okay. There's a Wyvern coming in. Oh, we could... that's a difficult target. I am not high enough to make a dive on him, I feel, if he's at top speed. And the team is... okay. It is doable, but... is the Wyvern coming for me? Not quite sure. I don't want to go head on with this guy. This thing might not be as good in a dive as a 109, but it might just be able to pull it off, although I doubt that. I really doubt it. Yeah, no. Unless I can get this guy to turn. Yeah, this guy just will straight up outrun me. I also need to keep an eye out on our fuel situation. Now he's turning. What's he doing? Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're not gonna catch this guy. Let's return to base and try to refuel. Because this could become quite a prolonged uh, affair. They do have some zeros left, so we need to be very careful. Where's the P-61? We do have... Oh, he's dead. Great. So only me and the Mustang and the B-26, but yeah, I would disregard him in terms of killing enemy aircraft. Now this will be tricky. Oh, if these would have hit. Flaps, flaps, come on, stay up longer, stay up longer. Stay up. Got him, and that's an ace. That 37 mil might not be the most accurate and the best muzzle velocity, but you sure as hell have a lot of ammunition for it. The Wyvern is... If the B-26 is clever, he will turn around. Or at least try to. Because then we will have an opportunity to get this guy. What's the... Okay, the P-51 is most likely returning to base. The Wyvern has killed the B-26. Fair enough. Oh? Oh, it's only an IL-2. Okay, let's... The Zero is down somewhere killing flak. Where is he? He must be near... And of course, he must be somewhere here. I think these are the only positions where he can be. Let's conserve some fuel. I don't like where this is going. Where's the Zero? Trying to watch for tracers. If he's near some flag positions, flag should be engaging. I can't find anything. Anyways, let's return to base. We need fuel. 5 minutes, I'm... Oh! Oh! Okay, screw that idea. Let's go for it. We'll try to make one pass. Damn it, I think he'll try to... He's trying to return to base, I think. I'm faster than him, but with my current fuel state, I'm not sure I'd be able to engage him for a prolonged period of time. Not to mention they have 3 other aircraft left in the sky. How far are we? Too close to their base, no. No. We are playing the safe. What on earth is the Mustang doing? Is there a bomber up high? Oh, well, he hasn't gotten any kills anyway, so... Check R6, okay. Okay, oh, okay. So 2 of these guys are bombers, and 1 of them has 3 kills. Damn. The other one most likely is all this is most likely the Wyvern. And this must be the Zero, right? Or this guy. Yeah, this guy, I think. This might be another Wyvern, I'm not sure. Would make sense, however. 8 minutes. I could equip this thing with bombs, go for ground targets, but the chance of me getting ambushed while doing it is pretty high. So I'm not gonna do this. Come on, my dear. Slow down. Yeah, the energy retention on the P-63 is pretty good. Again, very similar to the 109. And one thing this thing certainly does not like is extending its flaps at higher speeds. In that regard, another thing, I mean, we mentioned it earlier in the review, but can't stress this enough because this is one of the most important features of this airplane. This thing turns very well with flaps, but don't extend them at more than 360 around the combat flaps. They rip off very easily, unlike in the 109. Okay, there's one. What's that? That looks. Wait, there was something. I saw it. Yeah, there's something. What is that? That looks big. Might be a bomber. Okay, a zero. This guy might like. That's a Wyvern. Okay, he's not heading for us. Stay near our base and getting up into the air. We'll circle the airfield, climb a little bit because we need altitude. They have zeros in the match. And against a Wyvern? If I can get that Wyvern to turn, he's toast. Because the Wyvern might be fast, but its energy retention is dog shit. The Mustang is doing jack shit, and Jack has left the town. Need to keep an eye out on that Wyvern. I think the P-51 is probably AFK, but .5 minutes to go. I think we have this in the bag. Okay, now it might be the time to head in. I'm playing it pretty risky right now. I could play it safe, just circle the base and wait for the match to end, but that's not what we want to see, and that's not how I want to play this. I'm a fighter pilot, not some damn coward. I mean, coward is the wrong word. I mean, yeah, it's still a game, and just for that kind of sake, playing it safe and winning the match is the right choice. But yeah, I'm trying to win harder. And if anything, if I die, the P-51, they'll never catch this guy, because he's on a mission to the moon, it seems. He's gone space shuttle status. I doubt they will catch him. 4 minutes remaining. You need to be careful. Okay, the Wyvern is down as well. Yeah, okay. Wow, 23 kills. Oh my god. These things are racking up the ground kills, but the counter is still on our side by quite a lot. And we are trying now to intercept at least one of these guys. 6 kills would be a pretty neat result. With that, this thing would go into my list of aircraft with which I got more than 5 kills. I think so far this list is 4 or 5 aircrafts long. The 109, the F4, the Key 44, the F104, the 110. Yeah, I think these are the aircraft with which I managed to get during my career more than 5 kills in ARB. Come on, where are you? Where are these guys? Ah, I'm stupid. Oh, of course, why? Why can't you show me the one that's next to me? The closest. Because I have absolutely no clue where these guys are. They must be here somewhere. It's getting closer and closer of these points. 1 minute 30. You know what? We're gonna risk it. We need to secure this win. Oh my god, what was that? What was that? Okay, we are close to the airfield. Too close for comfort, if you ask me. 1 minute remaining. There's the 0. Okay, I take it back. This thing actually can dive pretty awesome. Oh, balls. Too close to the airfield. Oh my god! Lag almost killed me there. What the f***? Seriously? Ah, feel lost. Damn it. Ah. Oh well. Oh well. Not that I care much. I mean, KD is everything, right guys? And at least in that respect, that's a pretty impressive result. Yeah. So then, welcome to the final presentation, I guess. Taking out the P-63, what is this, Malta, Sicily, I think that's Malta. The balloon map. And we have our first target inside. It's a BF-110, should be an easy kill. Of course, taking here the lowest load out of fuel
to make the aircraft as light as possible. Let's hope the F6 doesn't... Okay, great. Should be selecting the 37. Oh, fuck it, just lose all of my guns. And yeah, quick and easy first kill. 3 rounds of 37mm ammo used. Oh, there's an LA5 coming out. Now I'm going for the 0. Making a quick pass on them fast enough. Evading the LA5. Oh yeah, that's just perfect. Come on, and... come on. Oh god, how did I... Yes! Oh, I got him! Yeah. A little bit messy there. Okay, there's a Yak 9 coming in. I'm in on a slide dive. Okay, if I can get that Yak, or just at least one of them to follow me. Only one. Oh, I'm sorry. Allergies, as I said, allergies are kicking in pretty hard. Okay, the Yak killed a P-47. The I-5 looking... that's a perfect approach. Come on. Yep, set on fire. Should be enough. Perfect. That's 3 kills so far. Oh, Yak 9T. K. Oh, should I go for a P-47? Yeah, I'm going for a P-47. Let's take him out. He's low energy. Yeah. Oh! Evasive maneuvers. Oh, thank god. That F6C just saved my ass. Another easy target, Ju-87D. Just don't go head on with that thing. Yep. Oh, I'm having a field day right now. Oh, that's ace already. Great. Oh, this isn't even my final form. I still have 55 rounds of 37mm ammunition remaining. Just use the 50 cals right now all the time. Except for that first kill. So, I have a Yak 9 on my tail. Alright. Let's get a little bit of more altitude. Oh. Oh. They have a Spitfire, okay. Well, we will need to keep an eye out for that. A B-49 and a Yak 9 down below. Okay, rest looks safe. Yeah, okay. And this thing really burns through its fuel rather quickly. I need to keep my fuel state in mind. Need to have an eye on that. KTS-91 is returning to base. Oh. Oh, that P-60... The other P-63 is engaging the Yak 9. I think there are 2 of them. There's 1-9 as well. Oh. Oh, I think the Spitfire just got involved as well. Oh, no. Oh, I really need to help this guy out. Yep, the Spitfire got involved as well. Oh, crap. That's not good at all. Yeah, they set him on fire. Damn it. Certainly doesn't improve my odds. Okay, let's make a pass on the Yak 9. We do have the altitude advantage and the energy advantage. If the situation goes south, we can just bugger out. Not the best approach. Not even a hit. Come on, pull out. Oof. Yeah, 780 kilometers per hour. Easy peasy. Just pulling out of there like nothing. Put her into another power climb. Oh, the B-109 is down low. He's going for landing. I don't really want to go for this guy, but Under these circumstances, I really need to improve my odds of survival here. Screw it, I'm gonna go for it. I mean, I don't like doing it because I think it's a shameful thing to do. But going for aircraft on the ground, but under these circumstances, I don't have any more. I think the S91 is live and that's it. So it's 2 against 4, or however they do have alive. Okay, oh, did he just bugger out? Did he just J out? No, he's moving. We are moving in. Only 6 minutes of fuel remaining. Crap. Okay, we're coming in hot. We avoid the flak guns that are mounted on the tip of the island. Okay, he has taken off, but still. This feels wrong. Oof, I just completely missed him. Oh, damn it. Oh. Oh! Well, I still got it. Still got him somehow. So that has improved the odds, so good. Oh yeah, here they come. Oh, they still have a... I knew it, they had 4. J-22 has just ended the fray. Oh my god, the lag is real. Also, thank god for chat is finally back. I can finally communicate with my team better. We are gonna go for a rearm. We badly need it. Or we should go for a refuel. That's a more important thing. We don't have any fuel left. 4 minutes and 40 seconds roughly. We are on 6 kills. Oh my god. Oh, damn allergies. Gotta say, the lag really... Oh my god. By far the best on the team. Wait a sec. Only one... Yeah, only one of my teammates got any kill. Oh, crap. However, at least the SM91 has done something. He has put the counter down. So we should be able to win this just by points alone. So me and the S91 were basically the only really useful pilots. Well, and the F6C early who saved my butt, so yeah. Oh, we're getting in for a rough landing, a little bit fast. Boom, 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 boom. I love this gun. At least the sound of it. I mean, obviously, I would prefer if this thing would be armed with an NS-37. Would be great. Oh god, what is wrong with the lag? We are rearming, 7 seconds. Perfect. And we are ready to go. Ooh, crap. The Yak 9 is over the airfield. Flag is engaging, and I have a feeling, yeah, we need to circle the airfield. What we're gonna do now is a little bit scummy, but it's basically the only way we can win this. We will try to circle the airfield, gain as much altitude as possible, and then try to re-engage. I advise the S91 to do the same. Obviously, he doesn't have the best climate, but maybe he can act as a bait and I can just swoop in from behind and shoot anything that tries to get on him first, because he's a twin engine aircraft. He will most likely be the main target for the Yak, at least. And if anything else just won't work, we will just win by points. Oh my god. Oof, I really need to get myself a new PC as soon as possible. I wish I could play this thing at the max settings with the new engine they introduced last, or I think it was last patch. I'm currently using the Radeon 560X or something. I really would love to have NVIDIA 1060 would be enough, I think, to run more fun at the highest settings. Okay, there's the J22. We will continue circling. These guys are way up high. They have a Spitfire somewhere. I don't know what kind of model that is. If that is a Mark 9, we are in a lot of trouble. J22 Yak 9, okay. But I think if that's a J22, then we are in a down tier. Keep circling, keep circling. Oh, there's a Spitfire. Oh, he's way up high. I don't know, this is rather disliked by the community, I guess. Just staying in here, but what else can we do right now? If we just go straight away from the airfield, we will be jumped by these guys, not dead. I want at least some altitude before I can properly engage. I'm sorry. Okay. Now things are looking a little bit more interesting. The J22 is now at more or less the same height as us. Yak 9 still above. I don't like what the S91 is doing. He's a little bit too far away. And that Spitfire... Spitfire? The pointy fire. No, the Spitfire is closing in. Oh, and yeah. No, for a second I thought he would be making a dive on us. Okay, yeah. We certainly have the point advantage, so yeah, we just need to keep it up. Just need to keep it up. If we don't die, then we will win this easily. I mean, by now they should have figured out that we're just circling the airfield. What they should do is go for ground targets to get the counter down low. Okay, and now the Yak is engaging. Let's see what we're able to do. At least the Spitfire is coming in. Need to keep the speed up. Okay, the J-22 has buggered off. The Yak is closing, the Spitfire in behind. Can't engage both at a time. Need to circle the airfield, damn it. I really don't like doing this, but I keep apologizing. Oh yes, the flag has hit the Yak. Looks like a water leak. Water or oil leak, great. I think I saw some black smoke as well, so that must be water and oil leak. Which means he's out of the fight. He will probably return to base. So now that's a 2 versus 2, and now we can finally engage. Now they are on the same height as we are. This should even the terms of battle. Unfortunately, where's the S-91? Okay, JH-2 is a great target here. Okay, the S-91 has evaded the head-on, great, good. That leaves an opening for us. Unfortunately, we missed. God damn it. Pull out, keep the energy up, or the speed up. Don't want to really follow this guy into the balloons. And what is the S-91? Why? Okay, that's certainly just... That makes the situation even more complicated. Alright, maybe I can coerce the Spitfire. Oh, no, he's on the same height as me. Not the best choice. Okay, what to do here? You know what? If this guy continues to follow me, I might be able to lure him down enough and to let Flag have a shot at him. Just need to get a little bit more weight to give him a false sense of security, and then dive back. If he's focused enough on me, I can make this work. Come on, buddy, just go for it. I'm right here. A great target. A pinball aircraft. High visibility jacket. He's doing it. He's actually doing it great. He's committed. Alright, dude. You wanna do this? Fine. Okay, snap rolling down. Taking advantage of this aircraft's good roll rate. 677 km per hour. Great. Okay, now let's just go straight over our airfield. And Flag should be doing its job, hopefully. Where is he? There. Oh yes, come on. Can you make 7 kills? Yes, I think we can. Come on. Damn it. Ah well. That leaves just one, the J-22. I doubt the Yak-9 will have no chance of re-entering this fight. I am very doubtful of that. But I think the J-22 I saw him earlier over our ground targets. Where is he? Oh wait. Yeah. Oh okay, I thought I saw something. There he is. Caspos Maximus, that's a good name actually.
So let's see if he's ready to fight, because now this is an even match. I can certainly take down on J-22. J-22 really is not the fastest and not the most maneuverable either. And to make things worse, I'm at a higher altitude than he is. And I have built up some pretty good speed right now. 520 kilometers per hour, roughly. Should certainly be enough. Let's see. Let's engage. Oh, we don't want to do a head-on. Maybe we can stall him out. Yeah. We have a way better energy situation than he has. Loop around, a little bit of flaps. Yeah. Pulling those flaps in. And that should be it for you, dude. Yes. That's freaking 7 kills. Oh my god. And if there would be enough time, I would go for the yak as well. Oh, well. Yes. Yes. I mean, wow. One hell of a match, I think. Yeah. He just played this perfectly. Perfectly. Secured the win. Didn't take any major risks. Oh, that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. I love this. I love this machine. And we should win any second now. Great. Just look at the points I gathered. Holy crap. I don't want to brag, but, well, that's one hell of a result. Certainly can't complain about that. Holy moly. Still, those results, I mean, I would have expected more than a 7 kill win. Mm, 36,331. That's actually pretty disappointing. Even the premium only 55,000, but yeah, 55,190. I don't know. Well, just look at that those points. I have almost 4 times, more than triple the points on the best part of my team, and more than double of the best part of the enemy team. Oh yeah, I certainly know who the MVP of that match was. So then, that leads to conclusion. What do I think of this machine? I think it's perfect. It's criminally underrated. It's a very, very beginner-friendly aircraft, but you will do well in it if you even remotely know what you're doing. You can put a good result of this thing, and a pro pilot can just absolutely wreak havoc with the P-63. As you just saw, I mean, 7 kills just speaks for itself, and even the other 2 matches were ace matches. It's an amazing aircraft to fly. Very, very rewarding. Very beginner friendly, as I said. It basically ticks all the right boxes. It's maneuverable. It's fast. Decent in the dive. Maybe climb rate is not that good, and the armament is a little bit tricky to learn. But otherwise, very, very beginner friendly. And by 4.0 BR, you should have enough experience to work out this aircraft's quirks. It really is such an underrated aircraft. I don't really know why. I think it's just absurdly good to fly. Easily one of the best aircraft at 4.0. I enjoy flying this thing almost. I enjoy it just as much as flying the 109 F4. And I would highly recommend this machine. Even if you don't have it, even if you don't play the US tree that much, you can also find it in the Soviet tree as a premium, and also in the French tree. So yeah, it has that going for it as well. But yeah, keeping it rather short this time with the final conclusion, but well, there isn't just as much to say other than it's just a fantastic fighter aircraft. Really, really, really recommend it. Yeah, so what's up next? I have 2 reviews planned. One for the Key 61,
for which I plan to do again a very extensive review, and then I will do my first ship review. I have all the material together already. Just need to. That's probably will be the first review that will be scripted because I plan to do a thorough review of the German heavy cruiser Prinz Eugen with an extensive history guide. I really want to dive deep with this one because KMS Kriegsmarine ships, they are something special to me. I love them. I really like them. Prinz Eugen, the Tirpitz, and they are such misunderstood ships. And I really want to do an extensive review of these ships. So the Prinz Eugen will come at some point, but it will take a while because I want to dive into literature about the ship and everything else. But yeah, the P-61 review will likely come up next, so you can look forward to that. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you in the next one.